Boom! There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Look, content is king. Getting your information out there is the most important thing you probably have to do as a business. And if you're struggling with that, then this episode is for you. We got one of the greats on the show, so let's get this one started. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life: prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone, because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Boss. All right, ladies and gents, on today's episode, we're sitting down with a true powerhouse in the world of public relations and branding. Our guest is a Wall Street Journal best-selling author, TEDx speaker, and the CEO of an award-winning multi-million-dollar PR agency. She's a highly sought-after speaker on all things PR and has helped numerous clients boost their visibility and revenue. In addition to running her successful agency, she's also a member of the Rolling Stones Culture Council and the Forbes Agency Council. And if that wasn't enough, she's an accomplished classical singer who has topped the iTunes classical music charts. So let's welcome to the show, the one and only Miss Victoria Kennedy. All right, Victoria, we got the party started. I told you we would. Welcome to the show.
I was hoping there'd be like some operatic song to come to be my opening, but that works too. I love it.
It's the party time. I know. You're a classical singer. It's not quite the same type of thing, but it is what it is. We'd love to have some fun.
I can dig it.
That's it. All right. I'm first of all, I want to publicly thank you. You've been sending me clients left and right. I'm absolutely loving the conversations I'm having with them, and so I wanted to publicly say thank you very much. Why do you keep sending them my way?
I love your podcast. It has great reach. It has great SEO. So if you guys are listening and watching this right now, his podcast has amazing SEO. It's wonderful. And when it comes to PR and branding, which is, light bulb, that's exactly what it is I do. That is so important. Being able to be Googleable, being able to be searchable, having your name, having something that you've done that is credible to come up on the first page of Google. That's what we're looking for in terms of PR. So putting my clients on your podcast is a no-brainer for me. It has a visual component. And as we know, YouTube is also searchable as well. We need that visual component, and it's searchable on Google. Those are the two things I'm looking for great credibility for my clients.
Plus, we have a rock star time when we come on the show. So I'm absolutely loving it. I'm hoping they give you some good feedback as well, because at the end of the day, if the client's not happy, they're not going to stick around. If the client's happy, they're absolutely going to stick around. All right, Victoria, it's 2023. There are a lot of people who are setting their budgets. Hopefully they did it at the end of Q4. But if not, they're setting their budgets for the new year. They're looking to scale their business. Why is PR one of those things that they have to have in their budget so that they can scale their business?
That is a great question. So a lot of people think about PR as a want and not a need. They know they need marketing, but they're thinking, PR, do I really need PR? Is it going to bring in leads? Well, it's not like marketing and you turn on it and you get all these leads. It's not like that. You're building your legacy. And I'm telling you what, guys, it's no secret that the recession is coming and or is here already. People are tightening their purse strings already. You can feel that. That means they're going to be very judicious about who they choose to do business with. That means that they're going to be researching on Google who is the best at social media, who is the best at marketing. If you don't pop up, that client is going to your competitor, not you. That person, that client is going to the person who understood the importance of PR, understood the importance of making sure that they're everywhere. Because in this day and age, when somebody's researching, where do I spend my hard-earned money? They want to make sure that they go with the best. And someone who has taken the time to invest in PR, that person is the best. So make sure that's you. It's going to be you or your competitor.
there's a lot of businesses who may not have an absolute large budget to work with major PR firms, but they can do some stuff to get themselves in a position where they're scoring some deals and landing some clients so that they do have that money put away to be able to do something like that. Can you give the listeners some like actionable steps that they can use for maybe personal branding or something that they can implement today?
Absolutely. So your social media platform is one of the most powerful free tools that you have. How you represent yourself online is so important. If I were to go to your socials right now, would I know what it is you do? Because you only have 3 seconds to impress someone. I need to know right away if you're a coach, if you're a business owner. I need to know that so that I can be sold to. You can't say, "Oh, nobody wants my services," if you're not telling them what it is that you do and not providing them real value. And that leads me to my second point. Make sure that all the content that you're putting out is valuable. It's educational. It's teaching them something. It's giving them a form of entertainment. It's telling them what it is you do, but in actionable steps that they can actually benefit from. That's going to make you, one, be seen as a thought leader, going to be heads and tails above your competition, and it's going to make people come to you. That's the first thing I would do if I didn't have a budget for PR.
So let me ask you this: quantity or quality? Because there's a lot of people who will spend, $400 or $500 on one video to post on their social media and doesn't get the attention they're looking for. And then you see the guy who's rolling on a skateboard, drinking some cranberry juice, and that thing blows up. Quality or quantity?
That's a great question. For social media, it's all about quantity. For PR, it's all about quality because social media is gone. Social media it's instantaneous and then nobody ever sees it again unless you have a stalker and they're strolling for days, right? With PR, you are writing something that is going to live online forever, that your kids are going to read, your grandkids are going to read. It's always going to be there. You're building your legacy. Make sure you take your time with PR. You work with a really good PR firm or a great journalist or contributor, and you're picking publications and topics to discuss and write about that are really relevant to you, that you feel represents you in the best way possible, because that is going to be your calling card for after that you're long after you are gone.
Not every PR firm is built the same. They offer different services. And I think the general public and business owners in general have different ideas of what they expect a PR firm to offer or to do for them. So what sets you apart from the other PR professionals out there, especially when we're talking about the entrepreneurial space?
That's a great question. Not all PR firms are created equal. Now, I can't speak to other PR firms because I have integrity. That's my core value, and I would never throw anyone under the bus for any reasons. All I can say is that me and my firm, we do a damn good job. And if you don't believe me, check out all of our 5-star reviews, because we do PR a little bit differently in that we base it on our relationships. All we do is earned media. We reach out to the press on your behalf, and we leverage the connections that we've made with the media through all of these years to help get you placed in top tier publication. Now, this is not an instantaneous process, right? Anybody who tells you, "I can get you on Forbes tomorrow," they are lying. They are doing something nefarious. Run away to the hills, right? You need to build your way to get into top publications. And that's what we do differently here at Victorious PR is we've created a 5-step process. It's a proven framework to get you no matter where you're at. If you've never been in the press before, we start you small. We get you on local blogs, some small podcasts, and we slowly build up your credibility to then we can pitch you on top tier publications. And this way, you got into the media because you earned it. Because I'm telling you, if your story is worth telling, which I know it is because everyone's story is, then it deserves to be in the media and you're good enough to be in the media. So don't go for a cheapy PR firm where you can pay your way in it. Get in these top placements because you've deserved it and because you earned it. And I'm telling you, it's possible.
How do we decide between how far our reach is going to be? Because I know obviously for some companies, they're little local store, they only want that little local reach. But there are other places, especially now with the internet, we've really opened up our possibility to find clients all over the world. So when we're talking about creating content or working with PR or being on publications, how do we devise a strategy to kind of meet our individual needs, but get the most exposure possible?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So a lot of times clients come to me and they've kind of thrown the spaghetti at the wall. They're like, "Well, I tried this and then I tried this and then I tried this." And That's great, but you might be even doing more harm than good if you're not telling a consistent story throughout. It's really important that you work with a team who can sit down with you, really understand what you're trying to accomplish, and then create a story. So no matter if you're on a podcast or you're on TV or you're in the media or an article, that story is consistent. That story stays the same. So you're just building upon the press that you continuously get. Another thing is what we like to do, at least in my firm, we have an editorial team that's all American based writers. So everything that we do is in-house. It's really important. Writing, don't overlook it. Some people will outsource their writing, and that's the most important part because, as I said before, that writing stays online forever. Make sure it represents you in the best way possible. If you're working with a great PR firm, they will ask you, where do you need to be? What does the game plan look like? Like you mentioned, some people, they need to be in top tier national press. Other people, we work with a lot of real estate agents, for example, they need to be the local go-to agents in their area. So we'll focus more on local connections and local press. We've even been able to get some of our clients on their local PBS station. You really want to work with a PR firm that wants to sit down with you and not give you something cookie cutter, but something that's specific and tailored specifically for your needs.
Speaking of in-house writers, storytelling is probably one of the best things that you can possibly do as a content creator. And I'm sure it works the same way in PR. Can you walk us through maybe like a case study that you worked with where you're able to help somebody not only grow visibility, because I mean, being popular and having a following, that's great. But at the end of the day, we want that revenue aspect to come into play too. And I'm sure that the PR strategies you put in place kind of help with both. Do you got a story that maybe you can kind of share with us that highlights that?
Absolutely. I have quite a few. So a lot of our clients come to us and they're startups and they're looking for seeding. They're looking for companies to pay attention to them. So they need to be in top tier press. So they're seen as credible in the eyes of investors. We've been able to get our clients into top tier publications. They've shown it to their investors and they have been able to secure up to billions of dollars in funding for their projects because of us. We've been able to help our clients with their crypto projects, which is another niche that we work with, have 8-figure launches. We've been able to sell out their 8-figure launches within 3 minutes. Like, this is the power of media. This is the power of credibility. If you're working with the right people and you have the right story out there, investors will be happy to give you money because they're scared too. They have this money they want to invest, but they don't want to put their money somewhere that they're not sure of. But if you can show them that you're trustworthy, which you can do with PR, really the sky's the limit and the doors will open to you.
Now, there's a lot of people like myself, for example, when I decided to start putting myself on camera, it was really uncomfortable to hear the sound of my voice. Nobody, I don't think, really likes the sound of their voice at first. But there's so much value I knew in creating content. I kind of forced myself to do it. When you come across some clients and they're a little hesitant, they're a little shy, what do you do to help them get comfortable and kind of work their way onto some of those bigger stages?
Absolutely. So podcasts are included in all of our packages. And sometimes we get clients who, like you said, are super shy and like, I don't know what to say. I've never been on a podcast before. I'm scared. We always like to make every single client an individual podcast prep guide. So this is unique to each client, which will have, this is the podcast you're speaking on, and these are the points, the speaking points for you. So we'll write exactly, hey, this is what we agreed on with the podcast host. These are the things you're going to be speaking on so that they come fully prepared to the show. And again, if you're working with a PR firm, they should be doing this for you or giving you media training, helping you through this, because this is an important opportunity. Being able to tell your story on podcasts is huge. As you know, like, this is not an opportunity that you want to miss out on. So we make sure that we get it for our clients and make sure that they are prepared with speaking points so they get the most out of the opportunity.
And I mean, the best part about going on podcasts is you're almost finding your voice. The one page that you give them, the questions and answers that they have, those are great tools, but really it's the experience that you get in getting a question asked and then answering the question, because it's really just a conversation, right? And I think a lot of times the fear that we have is something that we build up in our heads and what we think people are thinking or saying versus what actually happens. You show up on a show, host asks you some questions, you know the answer because it's your life, right? So you're sitting here having some fun. What kind of feedback are you getting as you get somebody who's new, who starts off on that podcast tour and then gets to that big stage? When they get there, how do they feel?
Yeah, I've actually had a couple of clients who fought me and said, no, I don't want to do podcasts in my proposal. And I said, no, you have to. You have to. It is such an important part of content and I need you to do it. They did the podcast on their first contract with us and then re-signed and asked for more podcasts because they loved it so much. And it just goes to show, like, they see it and they get that boost of confidence. It's just, as you mentioned, doing it again and again and again. And you realize, this is what I was afraid of. Just talking to another human being. This was it. This was scaring me. And once they realize that, then they honestly, a lot of them just want to keep on doing it more.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. Let's talk about your background a little bit. So your background is, you have a classical singer background. I mean, how amazing is that? And let me ask you, how does that influence what you're doing today? I'm sure hopping on stages, making some networking connections, probably getting over your own fear of being on big stages. How did that background and what you do, what you've done in the past, how did that help you for assisting your clients today?
Absolutely. PR and singing and being in the spotlight go hand in hand. And I've been in the spotlight my whole life. I've been an actress. I've been a singer. I've sang in Phantom of the Opera. I've sang with Opera Las Vegas, castles and cathedrals. Had a really fun, full life. And now I get to shine the spotlight on others. Now I get to show them, this is your story and you deserve to have it told. And as someone who was on stage, it's such a fulfilling thing, because and if you're listening to this, your story is unique. I don't care if you think, oh no, I have nothing to offer. If you're listening to this, you're into business or you have a business. You have something to offer. You're one step ahead of someone else, and your story deserves to be told. Think about any people who are listening thinking, if they knew what you did, they would be able to be helped and they would feel inspired that they could do it too. And that's why I love my job. I get to tell these stories and inspire other people of, hey, so-and-so did it, you can do it too. And honestly, I work with a lot of musicians who are like, Victoria, I found your story and I was a musician too. And now I'm a business owner and I was drawn to you because you're the same. So I'm never afraid to tell my story because it's only going to attract me to the right kind of people.
Yeah. And it's so powerful to be able to kind of fine tune your story and share it, because this is where you start developing your tribe. And we're living in a world where you can literally have your tribe and it feels so small, but they're spread out so far in many different places, different countries, different origins, different backgrounds. And yet you still share very similar experiences, very similar feelings based on your own background, and being able to share that is awesome. What about being a TEDx speaker? That is one of those stages I've never been on. And I'm curious, how'd you get to that point and what was that experience like?
Yeah, I wanted it and I got it. You just got to manifest. If you want something, don't be afraid to aggressively go after it. I think sometimes we're afraid of our dreams. Sometimes it's like, I have this dream, but you don't want to tell anybody, or you think, nah, it's never going to happen. It can happen. Anything that you can imagine can happen if you take daily consistent action to make it happen. And I decided I want to do a TEDx talk. Now, was I a speaker? No, I still don't consider myself a speaker, right? At this point, even though I'm getting asked to speak, it's like, this is so weird. I've always seen myself as a singer and now I'm a speaker. Like, in my mind, I have not made the switch yet, but I decided I wanted to be on the TEDx stage. For me, that was like the creme de la creme credibility. And I made it happen. And now I get to do that for my clients too and get them on the stage. And again, I just want to say that it was something that I wanted and I made happen. And so if you're there thinking, I want to start my business, or I want my business to be this, or I want to be a Wall Street Journal bestselling author on the TEDx, hello, you're listening to this podcast, contact me. Like, everything that you need, if you really wanted it, you would. If you really want to be on a TEDx stage this year, hello, I'm right here, contact me. God's giving you a sign. And if you want to push by and listen to this podcast and then close your laptop afterwards, that's fine. But don't say you didn't have the action right in front of you, because here it is.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's almost like you're yelling at me, telling me, do it. You know you want to do it. You know you want to. What are you waiting for?
You know what it is? I tell my team all the time, it's love. And love, I always say loving momentum is my word for 2023. And you may think love is so lovey-dovey and sweet. No, sometimes love is a kick in the butt. Yep. Sometimes love is, I'm not going to buy into your limitations. I see greatness within you. If you are listening to this podcast, you're above the rest because you're trying to get better. You're trying to improve yourself. So that's why when I say this comes from a place of love. You have greatness within you. You have excellence within you. Rise to the occasion. I see that in you, and I'm not going to buy into your limitations because I know how great you can be. And it doesn't serve anyone by dimming your light.
You are so right. I remember having a conversation with my brother the other day, and now I was talking about, helping real estate agents and stuff like that. And he was like, "Why don't you do that more?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't sell houses at the same level they do." And he just called me out. He's like, "Nope, that's imposter syndrome talking right there. That you have a different skill set that they're looking for. Stop limiting yourself." And you're right. That's love. That's exactly what you're doing. I see more in you. There's more capability. There's more possibility for you out there. Stop limiting yourself. So let's talk about who your ideal client is. I mean, obviously, like Gary Vee says, if you're in business, you need to be creating content. You need to put your message out there. Anybody in business is obviously a potential client, but we can't just go after everybody. We kind of have to niche down a little bit. Who is your ideal client? Who's that person you're looking for? Help describe them to me.
If you have a small business and you have a team underneath you, right? And you're at this level where you have a marketing team in place, you have consistent leads, you're not worried about that. Now you want to get to the next level and truly be seen as that industry leader. That's who PR is for. Let's get you to be the category king. Let's get you to be the number one. That's what our done for you services are. We actually have just came out with a PR membership program for people who maybe they can't afford an entire PR team of editors like we have, and publicists and brand strategists who are there to help you be number one. But maybe you have an extra VA around or an assistant who has some spare time that could be your in-house publicist. We have a new program that we're just rolling out where we will actually teach your team how to do your PR in-house. So
Wait,
yeah.
Hold up. So this is powerful, right? Because sometimes you might have the ability or the capability to bring on a VA, which you can find really inexpensively, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. But the training is the hard part to get them. I mean, my own experience is I know sometimes the training part on what I want them to do, I have a good idea in my head, but to get it out there for somebody else to actually learn it, whole different ball game, right? This is where teaching comes in. You're telling me that I can bring on my own staff, have a membership opportunity with you guys, and you'll teach them how to do it?
Yep. There's 3 calls a week with a multiple $1 million PR firm. So our editor-in-chief jumps on a call once a week. Our brand strategist, we have a branding call, we have a social media call, we have a PR call. 3 calls a week we have that your VA can jump in. We have scripts, so they don't even have to write it. We have script templates for podcast pitching, earned media pitching. We show you if you want to write for Forbes, for Rolling Stone. We show you the process of how to go about doing that. So everything you could need for PR, we teach your team how to do it.
So basically what I'm hearing you say is anybody who's in business has zero excuses why they can't have a PR firm working with them, whether directly or indirectly, to help take their business to that next level. Am I hearing you right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No excuses. We have price points for everyone. It's a very low membership cost. It's less than $1,000 per month to have your own PR person trained.
So what's the hesitation? What's probably, I mean, you describe somebody who has a business, has a couple employees ready to go. They're ready to take that business to the next level. What are the problems that they're seeing that they might not see themselves? They know they're in this spot. There's something holding them back, but they just don't quite see the connection. What are those hiccups you usually see? The objections that come up when you speak to them?
A couple of different things. One of them is they're actually afraid to shine. They're actually afraid. They're so in the background and they're like, I've built my business. I've never been in the media for 20 years. Yeah, you've never been in the media for 20 years and you're still not number one. And how much longer is that going to be okay? Is what I say. Do you need PR? Well, look, you're doing fine. You survived 20 years. You're good. But it's not about being good. It's about being the best. Do you want to be the best? I don't work with mediocre people. I work with people who are the best and I shine the spotlight on them. Is that you or not? And look, I'm particular. I don't work with just anybody. I have high integrity and I don't work with anybody that doesn't align with my company and my core values. So if that's you, I will hold you accountable and I'll get you there. But if not, that's totally fine. There's a lot of cheap PR people who will just take anyone off the street.
That's true. But there's a difference, right? And this is where the 5-star reviews come in. Because you're picking in particular on who you want to work with, you also are picking in particular in the results that you achieve for them. And at the end of the day, that's what's important is the results that come from what you're doing for that particular client. What are people saying? Why are you getting the 5-star reviews? What are they loving the most about working with you?
They love the most the personalization. it feels like they have their own in-house publicist, because our publicists are constantly on the phones with their clients, either calling for their clients for an opportunity or calling with their clients of what's going on. I saw on your social media, you just came out with this. Why don't you tell me? Let's do a press release about that. We have that personalization, which is so important. We're not one of those PR firms where you pay us money and then you never hear from us again. Like, we are constantly on you. You need to approve this article. We have this amazing opportunity. Do you want to be on Inc? Do you want to be on, we get opportunities come across our desk all the time, and we are so excited to share them with our clients. So that's what makes us 5 stars, is we're willing to go above and beyond. Our core value is excellence. As you can see from this conversation that I've had, I see excellence in you. I will just I want it for you so bad. And I will hold you to that standard of excellence. I hold everybody in my team to that standard, and to my clients too. If they're a client of mine, I want them to shine because I believe in them and their message. And that's what I try to do. And I think it comes across in the reviews.
I believe it does too. All right. Well, if somebody is finally convinced, right? They're sitting here, they're like, okay, look, I need to find out more about this. Maybe it's direct PR, maybe it's the membership packages. What's that process like? How do they get started? And what can they expect once they pull the trigger?
Yeah, we'll definitely take a call with my team. My team is really important about where are you at and what do you need specifically. We would never try to oversell you. We would never sell you something you don't need. We may not even work with you. We may not even align with values, and we'll make sure we let you know that. So there's absolutely no pressure, but we'll kind of see where you're at in your journey and subscribe something to that. It's really simple. If you want us the full 9 yards to do everything for you, no problem. We jump on a brand strategy call, and that is the editor-in-chief, who writes for Entrepreneur, by the way. So you're working with the best of the best. You're working with the brand strategist and your publicist and our assistant, who jumps on the calls to make sure that everybody who is touching your campaign hears your story in your own words, and we make the game plan. After that, we do 2 weeks of due diligence, writing articles, doing our research on you, and then the first press comes out, and you'll be able to get press consistently after that.
Look at that, down to a science. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, PR is a whole different world. Trying to navigate those seas by yourself, eventually you'll figure it out, but why wait so long? Have a team work with you who already knows how to do what they do at a very high level. Victoria, I'm curious. The internet's changed as of November 30th, 2022. AI is starting to take over a lot of our creative aspects, whether it's creative writing code, creating images. A lot of the stuff that people have been hesitant in creating brands are now turning to AI to kind of work that. How is that affecting, implementing, or helping you in your industry?
Yes, you're actually going to love this, because ChatGPT is the buzzword these days.
Mm-hmm.
And we do not hate it and we don't run from it. We embrace it. So we've actually made a training, which if you do get into our training, your VA will be able to use, which is how to use ChatGPT for PR specifically. So if your VA, their first language isn't English, or if they need help creating pitches, we show you exactly what that formula looks like, what those prompts look like, and how to utilize technology to help you and your team with your own PR.
That is so smart. Did you guys hear that? Look, I'm telling you, we talked about VAs just briefly, that one you can bring on for your staff, very inexpensive compared to working here in the US and hiring people direct. There's a membership for training so you can get them trained. And they're going to teach you how to use ChatGPT so that the English barrier is no longer there. I mean, Victoria, is there anything you don't do?
No, we even promise if they do everything we say, they can be published in as little as 3 days.
3 days.
Yes.
I mean, that's super powerful. All right. Well, where's the PR firm? Like, how long has it been in business? Where are you today? And where do you plan to see yourself in the next couple of years?
Yes, we'll be 3 years this year, which is very exciting. We started during COVID and we did $1 million our first year. And since then, it's just been exceeding growth and very fast growth, which has been amazing. We have goals of being the best PR firm for entrepreneurs. We don't want to stop. We want to keep growing. We're international. I'm actually speaking in Saudi Arabia next month, and I get invited to speak in Lisbon, and I write for Forbes Monaco. So we're going to probably open up a international European branch as well. So nothing but the sky is the limit for us. We're going to keep going, keep growing, keep trying to serve our clients at the highest level.
It's so amazing what you've already created and what you're doing for so many people. I don't think there's any more joy that you can have in life than to watch and help other people succeed. And you're already doing that. So one more time, as we're getting close to the end of our time here, if people want to reach out and talk to you, get any information, find out about that membership option, work with your PR firm directly, how can they do that?
Yes, absolutely. Find me on socials. I'm at the Victoria Kennedy. See the little blue check mark? That's me. Please feel free to send me a message. I know a lot of times you'll see someone on podcasts and think, oh no, I can't talk to them. I'm in PR. Like literally my whole life is based off relationships. So send me a message. Tell me you listened to this podcast. You loved it. You hated it. You had a question. I'm totally open. So don't be afraid to send me a personal message. I'll personally respond to you.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for you to take some action. Look, you can be in the same spot. I love how she said that. Somebody who's been there for 20 years. I heard somebody say this once. Have you been in business for 5 years, or have you just been repeating the same year of business 5 times? Like if you find yourself in that situation, you need to make a change. You know you do. And it usually has to do with how many people know about you and your services. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you guys reach out. Website is victoriouspr.com, and send her a DM. She says she's going to talk to you really in the DMs. Like people don't do that normally. It's a VA or somebody. She's going to reach out. She's going to answer. The Victoria Kennedy at the Victoria Kennedy. Make sure you guys reach out, send a message. Victoria, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Again, thank you for working with me and bringing people on my program. Before we head out, any final thoughts?
I would just say, as you mentioned, take action. This is your year. This is your year to tell your story to the world. Don't wait any longer. Think about how many people would benefit from getting your advice and your story. This is your year to be seen as a #1 authority and to help other people to be where you're at someday.
That's it. Take action. You got to get out there, make it happen. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I say that all the time. Life is up to you. You get to design it however you like, or live life by default. Not as fun as you would think. So get out there, take some action, reach out to the PR service that's here ready to help you, who has some experience in this business, who's been helping clients be successful in this space over and over and over again, who has 5-star track record and has a leader who has full of energy and is just looking at the positive. Look, she even said, she said she's not going to sugarcoat anything. She's going to tell you and call you out on your BS when you're stuck, when you have that imposter syndrome like we all do from time to time. She's going to push you to get to that next level. victoriouspr.com, victoriouspr.com. Victoria, thank you very much for being on the program today. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. And we're out.
It's over. Go home.
Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast, but not just any podcast. Podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to www.businessbros.biz to get started today.